Hey friends, coming to you from a mild January day. I'm really kind of confused, and I think Mother Nature is too, because I'm outside. It's only the beginning of January, but I'm outside just in a long sleeve shirt and jeans and a scarf, and I'm comfortable. I also am doing a radical shift in what I'm doing for my health, so I'm not like freezing all of the time, because I'm getting rid of low level infections, parasites, things that keep my body from doing what it needs to be doing, right? And so back in the day, and up until the 1950s, people did parasite cleanses on themselves and on their animals. It was something that was normal. It's something that's been happening for a long time, and parasites are good in small amounts. They absorb toxins, but if you have too many toxins and too many parasites, because it's a symbiotic relationship, the more toxins you have, the more parasites you're going to have, you actually get sick from it. And that's been my issue, and I've been targeting that the last 5 years. I go very slow, very moderately, because my body is sensitive, but I am feeling better. It's been a rough 3 months, but I'm finally starting to feel better, and that doesn't mean I push myself, right? That doesn't mean that I add more to my plate. That doesn't mean that I add more of this cleansing. It means I continue to listen to my body. I continue to move at a pace that it's comfortable with, even if my mind is not comfortable with that pace. So today we're out in the garden. With that cold weather at Christmas, we did lose most of the arugula that we were trying to overwinter. I don't know if you can see through the glass. There is some that still survived, but most of it did die, sadly. This is the year that I'm going to trim my blueberries in March, when it is the right time to trim them in my area. Every year I say I'm going to do it. I actually put a note on my calendar to remind myself this year. So you can see the Jerusalem artichokes that my husband dug up, was replanted. That small elderberry that I grew last year, it's really stunted because the Jerusalem artichokes were crowding it. So I'm hoping that it begins to grow. You can see there are some buds for growth on it. This is a gooseberry we got from my in-laws. But you can see the seed heads on the agastache. I've been kind of letting them do what they need to do, feeding the birds, dispersing where they need. But you could see there are things here you could forage, right? So it's January. I could forage these yellow dock leaves if I wanted to. I could forage this garlic mustard. It's considered invasive in my area. Mixed in between it is some, trying to figure out, what is this? I know over there I have a lot of hairy bittercress, but this looks like not henbit, the other one. I'm at a loss right now why I can't think of what it is. Hopefully it comes to me throughout this video. If not, I'll put it below, because I'm having a moment, which also, brain fog and inflammation of the brain, leaky gut, is all from low level infections, from imbalance in the body. So the more my brain comes back online, the more I can think clearly and properly. So you can see that the oregano is actually still alive, which I'm happy about. I think I'm going to take some of that and dehydrate it, because I'm running low. I use oregano a lot. Sauce, cooking, tacos. I don't use mixes. I make my own mixes, because a lot of times there can be things in there that are not good for you. That looks like chickweed. We've got a big dandelion that's still alive. So there are things here. There's still some chamomile growing that if I needed to, some sage leaves, I could still forage from my garden, from my lawn. There's another dandelion. Actually, that was a wild lettuce back there. I misspoke. Wild lettuce. Here's more of it, right? It's good for pain. You can see that some of the cover crop I seeded did come up. That rosemary looks like it might still be alive too, which is exciting. Parsley is done. But you could see some of it did come up, the cover crop. It was like a rye mix, I think. Or clover. No, it wasn't clover. I think it was a rye mix. Anyway, I did put garlic in here. And I see some of it in the back. Oh, here's one here. One over there. It's actually chilly in the shade. In the sun, it's nice. Back there, the garlic is coming up. So I'm hoping to actually have a decent crop of garlic this year, because every year I don't plant it in the raised beds. I plant it in the ground thinking it's going to be happier, and something eats it, or I forget where I planted, all those things that happen because life gets busy. I don't always write everything down. I'm trying to be better about keeping records, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. You could see we had to trim this poor tree. I really don't want to cut it down because it's the only shade that provides for my bedroom in the summertime. And I really don't like to cut down trees unless they're causing destruction. They were here first. We came in second. So you can see the hellebore is still blooming. This hellebore might have buds shooting up. The other one actually does, which is not really great because I know we're going to get more freezes coming through because it's only January. And I don't want it to shock the plant. But you can see here, there are flower blooms, right? That one is still blooming. The mugwort has gone to rest. Yeah, I guess this is all chickweed back here because it's been weird, the weather again. You can see Bee is foraging. She's sniffing out bunny poop that she's going to try to eat, and she'll have a stomach ache and I'll have to fix it. Like, status normal. But you can see everything kind of looks a little rough. It's the fig tree. I used an old pillowcase. We had no burlap. Again, I use what I have. I don't go out and buy things if I don't have to because I don't really like going to the store. So we did try to do some off-grid for the grow lights downstairs for the tropicals that we bring inside, and I will be starting seeds in the next few months. So there's that set up. Could see how the green stalks did not really fare well, which I kind of knew was going to happen. Although this sorrel is a perennial. This, I think, was an oregano. Black sea cumin. The thyme's okay. I feel like there's still whitefly, which freaks me out because it's been so cold and then they have not died. Yeah, but see, like the kohlrabi got hit, but I'm not going to pull this stuff. I'm going to leave it. But even the kale, look at it. It's like, ooh. I never got out here to harvest what there was. Actually, might have been a good thing because they had more on the plant, so it actually might have helped it. There is some new growth coming here on this kohlrabi. So who knows? Maybe a year later, a year after I seeded the kohlrabi, we'll actually have kohlrabi to eat. A year later. No, Mother Nature, she picks and chooses. These are the grow bags we had sweet potatoes in. Obviously, sweet potatoes did not live, but I'm keeping them out so they do get watered so that the soil does not die. But you can see we are in winter here. There's not a lot going on. But again, if you had to, there are things that you could forage here for food if you felt the need to. You could see some of my sage back there still going. The rest of this is there's a little bit of thyme, some horehound. The rest of it is seen better days. But you can always have something growing, even if in the wintertime, in the middle of winter, in the Northeast, like I've said before, even if it looks like nothing is happening, there are things happening, there are things growing, right? Like that is an evening primrose down here. That is still growing. So it's being mindful, knowing your area, knowing what you can grow, understanding how things grow, how they respond, right? Like creating some sheltered areas for some things. This lobelia is still alive. These are forget-me-not seedlings coming up. So, again, there's some green. Surprisingly, there is some green. I've got nettles. Some nettles growing. So there are things. And I keep the nettles in a pot when they take over because they can be kind of invasive. And two, I don't want the dog running through that because I've hit the nettles. It's not pleasant. But that's it. Sunny day today. Like I said, it's nice in the sun. It's a little chilly in the shade. It's nice in the sun. B and I are getting outside, getting our vitamin D, getting our fresh air, connecting, communing with Mother Nature. Normally I would take her to the park today, but she did just get a bath. I'd like to enjoy her being clean for a few days. She already is coming muddy today. So that's what's going on here in the neck of the woods. January, New York. It's quiet, it's peaceful, but you can hear the birds. Right, sun is out, the sky is blue. It's a little chilly, but things are still happening, even if it doesn't look like it. See you guys soon.